Hello guys and welcome back to the channel for this part 2 Battle of Hoth Army Showcase. Today we have the proper army, the rebel army, the good guys. I think somebody would probably be shaking their head if they were here right now. But today I just want to show off the Hoth army that we played in our Battle of Hoth game. It was great fun, really enjoyed it. I've always wanted to do the Battle of Hoth, but there's always one little setback, is they've never done an official army commander for the Hoth setting. To me, it's got to look right. You know, you can't put out, say, an Endor Hun with Hoth troopers, for example. It just doesn't look right. You lose that sense of immersion on the table. But today, finally got a Hoth Luke that they did, the limited edition one they did last year, got hands on one, and it was time to get the project done. So today we're going to showcase the army to you and see how it looks. So first up we have the Rebel Veteran Squad. I normally get 4 with them, but I've upgraded them with an extra Rebel Trooper just to get some more hits net, as well as a CM093 Trooper with a light blaster just to add out some more firepower. These were great fun to build. They've been out for a little while and I think it's something that's really needed. I'll just spin that one around to you. There's the CM093. Nice little long rifle there. So I'll pass over to Mum and she'll explain how she painted them.
Okay, so as with the other army, everything was done very similar. So started off with that Mechanica standard grey undercoat and a grey sear dusting over the top just to get that definition of undercoat colours. Different to the other ones on here, you can see it's more browns than the cream colour. To do that, I used the Wildwood contrast paint with some Lamia medium and then put some highlighting over the top with a Baneblade brown. On the gloves, shoulders, neck piece, etc. Again, skeleton horde. Used exactly the same methods as the other one. Even though you've got 2 different armies, you kind of want some consistency on the table. The jacket, done the same way as I did the white on everything else, which was that whitewash, the non-oil wash, some of the areas with a bit of Black Templar lines, but not too much definition in these ones. Weapons exactly the same. The only thing on these, we had more of the straps, and on some of the strap work I used a Rhinox hide mixed with Lamium on there. Bases on these very same as the other ones. Use the stones from the garden, Astra granite, let that dry, whitewash over it. Use the contrast Space Wolves grey on this one as well, because you want that blue feel to the snow. It's just, if you just do it white and the grey, it's just going to look horrible. Dappled white over the top of that, edging again Administratum grey, and use that soft snow from Woodland Scenics. It's kind of it really on those ones. A little bit different on some of the other units though.
Yes guys, make sure to check out the previous video about the Empire army. You really will see that consistency across the 2 armies in there. So we'll take it on to the next unit. Okay guys, for the second unit we have the Mark II Medium Blaster. Now you get access to these when you buy a Rebel Veteran unit. They are a separate unit in the game. I do like them, just some load of little mini machine guns set up just to be able to put out a little bit of suppressive fire. They were very simple to build, not too much work in them, although I am glad that they have started moving over to the hard plastic on the sprue rather than the soft plastic. It's been a lot easier putting the stuff together. So I'll hand over to Mum and see how she did them.
Yeah, obviously the infantry exactly the same. With the guns, with a lot of the guns as you see in the films, etc., there's a lot of just black work on them. So I've used very similar. I used Black Templar on it, contrast, so it does give that little bit of definition, but then I've highlighted it over with the Eshin grey. No different at all on there other than that.
Okay guys, for the next unit we have the Tonton Riders, probably my favourite bit of the army, just because it's Hoth, isn't it? You can't do Hoth without Tontons. As seen in the main overall army picture, there are 2 units. It's just to give me the options, but in the game I only had 1, and I'll tell you what, they were definitely worth taking. They did kill a lot of stuff. It's always great to see the Tontons. I just love them. And as you said before, I'll say it again, I thought they smelt bad on the outside. What do you think, Mum?
Oh, definitely, definitely. So on these ones, the only difference, again, the riders are very, very similar. On the Tontons themselves, I used the same similar white going over, using a lot more dry brushing so you get that fur on there. And the straps using Rhinox hide with lamium, and some wildwood as well, so just to get those saddles and the horns effects, mixing all of the colours together to get the horns in there as well. So I think they were really good. We did need the rocks on the bases of those as well, that really set them off well.
And like I said in the previous video, the firing arcs, got to make sure they are able to be seen. We obviously learned from our past mistakes, and therefore they were all able here, and we've got the firing arcs set up. So I think that's them. We'll move on to another unit. And next up we have the 1.4 FD laser cannon, an iconic cannon seen throughout the Battle of Hoth. Many shots of it taking out walkers, or trying to take out the walkers, certainly not the AT-ATs. I do love the models. They were a bit of a pain to put together, again with cabling and matching up to the generator, with it being the soft plastics. This is one thing that's always bugged me with the army, similar to how I was saying about the commander and then not bringing out the commander. The 1.4 FD laser cannon only comes with Hoth crews, same with the Empire E-Web turret only comes with Snowtrooper crew. Yes, there's 3D print companies out there, but I really wish they would redo the kit to give the optional crew for using them in other settings. But honestly, one of my favourite, I gave you a shot around the back there, one of my favourite things is just iconic to Hoth. And I'll pass over to Mum to see what she did with them.
Yeah, on this, I mean, as you say, the troopers are same old, same old. With the actual laser itself, I used more greys on this one. But I did use, the wash I used on it was a mix of the Agrax and Nuln Oil on there to give a bit of more of a dirt effect on that one, give that a bit of a wash in. With the dry brushing over that one was more Administratum grey. I did a little bit of Celestra grey on there as well, and a little bit of white, but not very much. I wanted to keep that so you could see that grey difference between that and the troopers.
And now next up we have the T-47 Airspeeder, or commonly known as the Snowspeeder. I was talking about iconicism of Hoth. This is iconic to Hoth. You don't see one of these and don't think of Hoth instantly. I've equipped it with the harpoon gun. Not as good in game as the other ground buzzer machine gun you can give it, but it's Hoth, isn't it? Star Wars, you've got to give it the harpoon. Amazing model, amazing. Again, for a very first original release model in the first wave, I think it still stands the test of time compared to, when you compare it to the newer models they started bringing out. I do love them, I do love them. So Mum, how did you go around with this one?
This one, so again, same kind of undercoating as before. I did a whitewash over the whole thing, but then I decided to pick out the orange parts. To do that, I used a base colour of Jocaro orange, and I actually then used contrast Gryph-hound orange over the top. And then did some highlights on there. There's actually one of the Zombicide colours. There's got a jumpsuit orange type colour in there. That I used to do some of the highlights on there. After that, there was a wash on the whole model, and then brought out dry brushing. So I was dry brushing the individual panels with the white, just to make sure that we could get that definition all the way through. I used some greys, grey blue on the windows, and a wash over that with the Nuln Oil, just to try and show those windows as being as they are, so you can see it. It's sort of semi-glass like, but still some darkness into that.
Yes, Wedge did definitely have fun throughout the game, flying around, trying to spin stuff. He just kept missing his harpoon. And by last but no means least, we have the commander himself, Luke Skywalker. As I said at the beginning, this was the limited edition one, because to me, you've got to play Star Wars as Star Wars. It's got to look right on the table. If I put out the starter set one, it's not like Darth Vader. Darth Vader is what he is. If I put the starter set Luke Skywalker out in his Bespin gear, it would look really weird on a Hoth table. So I had to look for one. Yes, there's 3D print companies out there, and I will probably look against some for the other characters like Leia and Han. I mean, Chewie is what he is. I can get a Chewie anyway. But to me, this symbolises Hoth as well. Just seeing Luke in his jumpsuit with a little bit of his crush speeder on his base. So Mum, how did you get around with this one?
Okay, so orange is not exactly the easiest colour to do, as we all know. But I used the same colours on Luke as I'd used on the speeder over there. I started off with the Jopero orange, which was okay. It's good as a base colour, but it's definitely really too dark to have as a finished product. So I went over it with a Gryph-hound orange contrast paint, and then I brought it up with the jumpsuit one. Then brought in a wash and then did all the straps. The straps are really just pure white straps. You need to have that real big definition for the strap work. And doing some detail on the helmet, etc., to get those symbols in was a bit of freehand, not the greatest in the world, but you know, you had to put something on there. With the lightsaber, that was a variety of different blue washes on there to get that difference in colour, and a bit of dry brushing. Again, just to try to show the different colour. You'll see there's a light spot in the middle of it and at the end of it, just to show that shimmering a little bit.
Well guys, what did you think to that? The Rebel Army for the Battle of Hoth. It was such an amazing game. I really enjoyed playing it. It's our first time using pretty much all of the units that we've shown here. So we didn't really know what we were doing, but it was great fun anyway. So I think that will sum up the video. I hope you guys really enjoyed. There's certainly, with the new year coming around, there's going to be so many more projects that we can't wait to show you guys. So stay tuned, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, notifications, all the buttons. And I hope you have a great day and happy wargaming.